Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Crystal. This is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown podcast. And over Facebook chat, I've got Heidi Monroe of Babie Eyes. Hello, how are you? We finally get to chat.
I'm good. I'm really good.
Good. I
It's
am
great.
I am really excited about this. Lexi and I have been friends for many years. I've had him on the show multiple times. And then he started talking about his this new project that he was involved with, Babie Eyes, and he does guitar and bass and all these different little facets that Ian can do. But the main focus is you. It's Heidi. It's your music, and it's all of the above. So I thought that was really really cool. I finally got to see one of your shows at Wousso's, actually, the local coffee shop in town, for those of you who don't know. And it was just really cool to see. It's kind of folky, kind of rocky, just a beautiful kind of amalgamation of the two. So let's jump into Babie Eyes and kind of the whole Heidi story.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, I guess after I had my daughter Nora, I started really working on being good to myself, or well, while I was pregnant too, and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But that kind of started my journey onto this path of like doing art and putting myself out there, and when I hadn't been for a really long time. And then I went and started seeing the new Salty Dog, new Salty Dog at the Ripple Bar,
Yeah.
and then that got me. I was doing art there, and then just being around that, live music atmosphere again was like. It took me about a year to want to play out again, though,
Mm.
but it finally happened, and that was like in January, and it was kind of cool because I had a conclusion of like an art show for the art stuff that I had been doing, and then I ran into this drummer that I knew from years back, Curtis, and just things unfolded with Ian, and he wanted to be in the band and was willing to play bass, and we just have been having a lot of fun, and then adding Jacob and Kenny has been just even above and beyond my you know I'm just having so much fun. I can't believe I get to have such a fun life right now. It's just everything
Mhm.
about having a band is really nice.
Yeah, sounds fabulous. So, Heidi, how did your music journey start? It sounds like you're kind of very well faceted in art and music and things like that. How did that all start for you?
Well, I grew up in the country, and then also I did a lot of musical theater
Mm.
growing up, and growing up in the country, I feel like you kind of have to get used to being around yourself and being alone and enjoying your own company,
Hmm.
and so that's one of the nice things. It's not always easy, but it's like you learn pretty quick. So, yeah, that's what was my kind of refuge back then, and I used to sing to just like karaoke tracks.
Hmm.
I had a karaoke machine in my room, and that's how I practiced. Because I didn't play any instruments for until I was like 21.
Oh, okay.
That's when I picked up the guitar.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Very
and
cool.
then I decided to play music when I was 21 again after I had failed in college and gone for 4 years for psychology, and then I started pursuing it pretty hard and got into a cover band, which was really fun, called the New Relics in town here, and then made my own band, which was Deep Sea Mushroom Colony. Uh, a few people might remember what that was, but that was very fun,
Yeah.
and I'm glad to have a band back. It's just like having a big family,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
it's really nice.
Yes, definitely. And I can attest to growing up in the country as well. I grew up in the country as well. So yes, you get used to your own company very quickly,
Yeah.
especially when there aren't other kids your age around.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you get used to it, and then you go off to college and move to a big city. Not that
Yeah.
Duluth is a big city by any means. And then there's just so much that happens and can be here and can be around. So it kind of sounds like you and I have that in common.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So you had mentioned that you had a karaoke machine as a kid. Are you pretty much self-taught then? I mean, did you sing in choir in
Oh
school?
yeah, I did sing in choir, and then I learned through having musical theater. I didn't have a really good part until I got this part of Anne of Green Gables, and that
Ooh.
was like when I was like in fifth grade, I think it was, and that was a really pivotal moment in my life because I like went from being super shy and reserved to being like you know being able to handle a big part like that, and then I did choir and stuff. I kind of stopped doing theater after high school, for sure. But I did choir and stuff, and I had voice lessons through a guy in town, Craig Leobrotten, and then also from another guy at the John Duss Music Conservatory for a while, who was really good. And I had to really expand my upper register quite a bit. It took me a long time, so I had to really chisel away at that,
Oh,
and they really
gotcha.
helped me do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Fabulous. Wonderful to hear. So you had mentioned that you didn't really pick up the guitar until you were 21. Um, I guess comparatively to the other people that I know, that's kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So what kind
Yeah.
of yeah, what spawned that to kind of pick up the guitar and kind of marry the two of singing and music?
Well, my parents had bought me a guitar, and I just every time I kind of tried to mess around with it, I'd get frustrated and put it away. But it was this really nice Alvarez guitar, and I just didn't really know what I had. And then when I was 21, I just kind of was like, I'm going to teach myself how to play enough to write some songs. And like I do these like couple note things to write an entire song, and then I'd show it to my ex, Nate Gannon, who could take it and turn it into the chords that he would be playing on the guitar. So
Oh, okay.
I just kind of like started small, and then I tried to take lessons from people, but I wasn't very good at that. Taking lessons from I just the technical aspects of music have always been something that I've learned, but have gone just like, see ya. Like I just they don't stick in my mind. But I know what I'm doing, and if I'm like consistently doing it, it's gonna be fine. But yeah, so teaching myself felt more natural, I think. And then people along the way have showed me, and like I can connect with certain musicians better than others, and you get little lessons from everybody. If you put yourself out there and play.
Right, right. I love that quote. You get lessons from everybody. I have read that time and time again from whether it's a famous author or actor, and I've kind of married that into my own life, especially now that I'm older. So that's really cool that you've adapted that as well, because I'm a firm believer that you can learn from other people whether you're realizing it or not. So that's really awesome. It's also really cool that you taught yourself guitar. That's absolutely amazing because I know so many people that, paid buku bucks to get lessons and or to go to a music school. So that's really cool that you kind of took the DIY path a little bit there to
Oh
make it
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also, when I do art, it's like abstract too. So I kind of feel like, and like, I see that you say about art on your profile about like having no rules. And that's just the way I feel about it too. Like, there's just no, and then if you can teach yourself, then you have kind of a distinct style. And that, for a long time, I wouldn't play guitar like with people because I felt like wasn't doing it right. And that I sounded funny, and then it was just really recently that I like accepted the way I play and just started doing it more often, and then I got way better faster.
I love
You
it.
know?
I love it. So it's almost like the phrase "get out of your own way."
Mhm.
Very
Yes.
cool. I like it. Well, Heidi, you're a testament to that, and that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. I will now adapt. If Heidi can do it, so can I.
It's true.
Well, thank
For
you,
real.
thank you. That's an inspiration, definitely. Heidi, you had mentioned a little earlier that you are also into art as well. Is that like painting or photography, or what kind of art are we talking about?
Um, well, it's like all the I like taking photos and doing that kind of stuff, and but I really like to just do abstract, whatever comes out. Just kind of let it free flow through, like watercolor,
Mm.
especially, and acrylic painting
Oh.
too, and like collage. I feel like you can say a lot with the collage,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
like humorously, especially. Like it's really good for conveying, you know. Yeah, I love to find like old magazines, and I feel like I got a jackpot with like a brand new, rummage sale find like
Oh.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway, I like it all. I like to just make stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Feels good.
Yeah, I love it. And you had said earlier that you had met a lot of your past bandmates and your previous bandmates doing art shows as well. Do you do a lot of art shows in town, or how does that work for you?
No, actually, I got to this point where I like had enough stuff for an art show, and then I was talking to Terry McCarthy, my friend. We sat down and I was telling him about all my art, and I was like, just kind of going like just ugh, like laid it all out there and told him what each piece was like kind of about, and then like the next week, I got a message from Anne Marie from Wusos who said, somebody backed out. Do you want an art show in January, which was like, the next month? And I'm like, yeah, because I felt like, it was just like I was totally thinking that I was ready for that. So
Hmm.
it was just that's the only one I've ever had,
Oh.
and and so it was like, yeah. But otherwise, I've sold my prints places
Hmm.
around town, like at like different like markets and stuff like that. Last summer I did that.
Hmm. Very cool. How was that
Yeah.
experience for you? Kind of selling your prints and things like that. Was it welcoming? Did you find yourself really comparing yourself to other artists, or was it kind of, hey, this is what I've got. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I felt like I finally accepted myself
Hmm.
that during those you know when I was doing that. So it was like, yeah, I never compared to other people. It was just so nice to be able to enjoy and appreciate everybody's unique stuff.
Hmm.
And like I've had my own experiences with jealousy and whatnot throughout my life, like with music and with art, and just comparing and wishing you had. But then I was like, well, everybody's their own person, and like whatever you create, that's why it's special because it's you. So then once I caught on to that, then it was just like it was a really freeing experience to go out there and just believe in yourself enough to here's my stuff, I'm selling it. And even if you don't make hardly anything doing it, it's like you're all putting yourself out there. So like, and you meet all these people that are doing that too, and yeah, it's a fun thing to do for
Right.
sure.
Yeah, I can attest to that as well. The whole kind of jealousy thing. Like I had that for many, many years, whether it was I was doing theater or I was, wanting to be in a band with a couple other people or photography, even, whatever it was. And I remember I picked up a book called The Artist's Way. And the author has a few chapters, excuse me, about jealousy and artist jealousy and how it's so almost ingrained in the artist mindset to compare yourself to other artists and to successful people, but not realizing that these successful people had to go through the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So can we dip into that a little bit? The kind of back and forth, the jealousy side of things, and then kind of coming into your own, I think that'd be kind of beneficial for people to hear, especially if they're starting out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's crazy. Because I remember when I was in my early 20s doing music, I had this crazy amount of, I mean, just intense amount of jealousy, regarding my ex and him playing with other bands, and just feeling like you're just trying to control things, and you don't really know. And I couldn't figure out how to fix it. And I knew that eventually it could be done, but like it wasn't going to happen in a day. And because you can't just like turn off that emotional that comes over you. And so, little by little over the years in my 20s, it took me a long time, but I had to let go of all of that. And, it's only really been in my 30s that I felt like a freedom from that,
Mm-hmm.
which is really like freedom from feeling those emotions. And if you do, you just let them go, because you don't need to hang that you are not your thoughts, and so you don't have to you know go down that rabbit hole. You can just kind of keep trying to be open as possible, is what I
Right.
always think about the word open when I'm like out listening, and just and the more open you are, the more you realize that's the way to go,
Mm.
because it feels like just an abundance of love. So,
Right, right. Heidi, you are like speaking my truth right now. Like I said, I've had my own battles with jealousy and self doubt and things like that, and it's almost like that's what's supposed to happen in your 20s. Like you're supposed to go through
I
this
know.
wave of I like what I'm doing, but I doubt myself, but and then in your 30s, you're like, psh, let it all go.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah. I
So,
love my 30s. I'm so happy about it.
oh yes, yes, very cool, very cool. And you're emulating this calm, self self reliance and self love, even through the camera. That's it's warming me. It's warming my heart. Thank you. Very
Oh,
cool.
good. I'm
Fabulous.
glad.
Yes. And I do apologize if you hear some rustling in the background. My husband has decided to take it upon himself to get us a new furnace. And so that's what's going on in
That's
the
okay.
basement right now. And I, I really wish he would just go out shopping or something, but
Yeah.
that's what happens when you podcast at home. One day I will have a studio. One day.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah. Heidi, you had mentioned earlier about a couple bands that you were in before Babie Eyes. Can we talk a little bit about those bands and kind of how it possibly shaped your music today?
Yeah, when I was writing in those bands, when I initially wrote those songs, it always came out kind of sadder, tones. I was struggling with stuff for sure. But then when you added the band in, it kind of cheered it all up and turned it into big rock sort of thing. So when I had Deep Sea Mushroom Colony, which was Andy Bergstrom playing bass, John Lamar playing drums, um, Andy Lipke would play sometimes on guitar, and
Oh,
Nate
nice.
Gannon would play guitar, and then Adam Staria was like also contributed songs, and would play his songs, and I would play my songs in that band. So that was really fun, and I learned that I'd always try to communicate that I didn't want to be so loud, but it would always get pretty loud just because it was like an intense group of people and whatnot. We all kind of got just a little wild.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did learn quite a bit, like through just the communion that you get when you like spiritually connect and go, to town and jamming and whatnot. It was a good group of guys.
Yeah.
And the songs, though, now we play some of those songs in this band, in Babie Eyes, because they translate. I felt like back then it wasn't received as well. Like, and that's probably my mentality too. My perception of things back then. But it wasn't. It just seemed like it just was a little bit harder, I guess, to play. Yeah, I don't know. Probably just because of my perception.
Oh,
Really.
yeah, yeah. And it's very interesting how perceptions change, like the older that you get. Um,
Yeah.
it's, yeah, it's interesting. I've been finding myself kind of looking back on my 20s with not necessarily fondness, but just kind of looking
Yeah.
back like, oh, what,
Oh,
whoa.
yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
uh,
Just pet yourself then.
right, exactly. Pat myself on the
Yeah.
head and, and move forward. I'm 34 now. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get down to Babie Eyes. I love the name of the band. It's very unique. It rolls off your tongue and it definitely sticks in your head. How did that come about? Was it an open jam session that you were having and you were tossing around names, or has that kind of been one that you've kept in your back pocket?
No, that was like Ian and I were we were texting back and forth, and then I was like, I'm just gonna write a bunch down, and then I took a picture of the ones I'd written down, and the one I liked was Babie Eyes, and then that stood out to him too, so that we knew, okay, that's probably the one, and then we spelled it Babie. I think there was some conflict with something online with the other thing, so which was great because like the whole idea is just seeing every day with a fresh perspective, with different, with new eyes, or
Yeah.
just non-judging standpoint, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like how you've
yeah,
kind of taken your own experiences and culminated it into your band. That's really cool.
yeah, yeah. It feels good to do that. It does feel like cathartic to be able to express yourself like that. Like, yeah, it just
Yeah.
feels like good timing for it.
Yes, so absolutely wonderful. Yes. Fabulous. Now, if only it was springtime and not turning into winter, but it'll be okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Spring will come again.
Yes, it will. Yes,
Yeah.
it will.
And Heidi, I think when we were talking in the very, very beginning, I think you said that you guys were looking at recording or you had started recording an EP. How is that process going for you?
It's going. It's real fun. I love to do it. We're doing stuff with the guy Flip Artillery in town, and I went to high school with Flip, and so I've known him for quite a while, and he's great, and we've got a lot of good takes. We just gotta mix them down, and then I think we're gonna share them on Bandcamp or something like that, to just get some out there, and then we'll be recording also with Rich Matson in
Fabulous.
the first weekend of December. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that too. So, but we do have a couple of really good tracks, so I think we're gonna have to share one real soon,
All
just
right.
to get something out there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
would you launch anything to like iTunes or Amazon, Spotify, anything like that? Or
Oh yeah, I think that's coming up soon too. I think this winter we'll have that all put together for sure.
yeah, fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Yeah, I was going to mention that a lot of artists use Disco Kid and it launches yeah, it launches everything to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and then a couple others in there too. And it takes care of all like the rights and everything with your music behind it. You pay like a yearly subscription of maybe 20, $30, and then it takes care of everything for you. And then once somebody buys one of those from one of those, it kicks it back to you too. So I was going to ask if you were going to use that platform, but Sounds like you're.
Oh, I think I will. That makes a lot of sense. That sounds like a great platform.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I'll send you a link and everything after the interview here. But yeah, it's a really
okay.
excellent platform. And to kind of piggyback off of that, you had mentioned before that you had done kind of a little research into Babie Eyes, and you were going to spell it a different way, but something else was already out online about that. And that's kind of something that I had to teach myself too, was the rights and the copyright and the entire business behind art. Because art is a business. It's kind of insane once you kind of dive a little deeper than surface level. And it sounds like
Yeah.
you've done that as well. How was that experience for you, kind of diving deeper into the business side of things, versus, here's my art world, take it.
Yeah, well, the business, yeah, it's like you really have to just value yourself. And like, if you value yourself, then you're gonna do okay. And you're probably gonna actually do great, but, I feel like it comes down to that anyway. Because like, and it's a gradual process. When I first went out selling like my artwork, I was like, oh, I just felt so weird about it all the time. Just there was a conflicting thing, but that was just like my ego, just like continuing. You just gotta let it go because it doesn't matter. And so just that process was really good, and it is good for anything, and for business, like just I'm not the best at business stuff, to be fair. There's other people in the band that are better at business stuff than I am, but I tried my best for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And see, that's why you have bandmates, so that you can rely on them for more than
Yeah,
just
for
just
sure.
the music.
Ian, yeah, Ian does a lot of that stuff.
Yes, yes.
And Curtis, yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good about it. Yeah.
Right, right. Good.
We all have our own special things, yeah. Kenny and Jacob definitely have theirs too.
Fabulous. Excellent. Excellent, Heidi. I love it. So you're gonna jump into the recording studio with Babie Eyes. You've got an EP coming out. Are you gonna do a release show or anything like that?
Well, we should. I mean, maybe we better get that together. Yeah, maybe we'll do it sometime for something while we're doing that. We're doing a residency at the Cedar Lounge in November, so that could be something that's within that, perhaps.
All right. Excellent.
I
Excellent,
don't
Heidi.
know.
Wonderful.
I have to discuss it with the Hive.
There you go. Discuss it with the Hive. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Heidi, you are a plethora of knowledge and inspiration and light. And like I said, I can feel this warmth and this kind of love emanating off my screen. That's an absolute joy and a treat to talk to you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me in the wider world about Babie Eyes and about Heidi Monroe.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
Of
Really
course.
appreciate you.
Of
I
course.
love your questions.
Oh, fabulous. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on that maybe I didn't get to, or?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Kind of ran the gamut, so we're good?
Yeah.
All right, fabulous. Heidi,
Okay.
the lead and inspiration behind the band Babie Eyes. Thank you so much once again, and I will see you at the Cedar Lounge in November.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, have a great day.
Have a nice-